want to give honor to the love of my life, God. As I was worshiping, God ministered to me. And I said, God, you got me coming out of the Old Testament again. Got some Old Testament prophets. And he said, because I have called you to reveal my heart to the people. And there are things in the Old Testament that reveal things about God that you won't find in the New Testament. And I'm so grateful that he's given me such clarity. I love studying the Word. So that's what we're going to be today. And I also want to give honor to Pastor Will, Lady Kim. I love y'all. You know I love you. Thank you for the opportunity to stand before the people again. To my parents, my family, thank you. Raise your hand if you're family in here. Raise your hand. Exactly. That's what I thought. I got a big family and I'm glad to be here. Okay, so let's get right to it. Come in. Oh, actually, we have a mantra. No, we got to do our mantra first. So let's proclaim our mantra in this house. Say it with me. I believe the Bible is the immutable and infallible Word of God. It is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. I believe the Word of God applied to my life will launch me into my purpose, unlock heaven on earth, and cause me to be a blessing to mankind. As I pray, God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, we want all of you. I don't want just the Father. I don't want just the Son. And I don't want just the Holy Spirit. I want all of you, God. I want all of you to be revealed in this moment, God. Let us feel your tangible presence. And God, you know my intimate prayer always is to sit me down and you rise up. Let my flesh take a seat on the front row. And your spirit rise up in me, God. And you continue to minister to me. Give them the hope that you've given me. Give them the hope that you've given me. Give them the hope, God, that you have given me. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen. Join me in reading. The scripture text for this morning is Jeremiah 29:11. You've heard it, you know it. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. You may have a seat in the presence of the Lord. I'm going to tell you now, you're going to have to flow with me because I only got 30 minutes and I want all of it. So, God revealed this to me, this message, not in its entirety, but it was one of those mornings. It was like, God, I need you. I need a word. And it's what I always do. Me and God got this thing that I'll take my Bible and I'll just flip it. And I'll be like, just let the pages fall. And the pages fell to Jeremiah 29. And I started reading. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. And I closed my Bible and I said, God, I know you're going to do more with that in a later time. And this is that time. But Jeremiah 29:11 is a scripture that is probably one of the most popular scriptures outside of John 3:16 and Genesis 1:1. Everybody quotes this, right? For I know the plans I have for you, thus says the Lord. Birthdays, graduations, any new promotion, life event where you're trying to give someone some encouragement, you're going to go to Jeremiah 29:11, right? And I was like, this is really amazing, God, what you're doing here, because just about every occasion that you want to encourage people about what is to come and the goodness of God is there. Well, except for a funeral, right? I think a funeral is the only time we don't use Jeremiah 29:11, because he's talking about the future. And we already know, yeah. Okay. But when you read the scripture, there are some things that you notice right away from Jeremiah 29:11. And that's number one, that God has a plan. God has a plan. I don't know about you, but that is good news to me. Okay? That even when I don't have a plan, God has a plan. Not just any person, but God. The creator of the universe. Okay? The author and finisher of all things has a plan. So that's good news. Number two, he says, for I know the plan, so it means that only he knows plan. Now, sometimes as believers, it's a hard thing for us to grasp because we want to know the plan. But if he wanted us to know everything, he would have said, we know the plan. Right? So don't read the Bible too fast. He said, for I know the plan. Okay? We also know that God has more than one plan. There was an S in there. I'm thankful for the S. Because the S tells me that he has a plan for you. And he got a plan for me. He got a plan for everybody. He doesn't have just one plan or one way of doing it. That's why we can't look at each other's lives and see what he did for you and expect, okay, you following me? He has many plans. And he has a specific plan for you. And the last thing we know is that his plans concern prosperity, safety, hope, and a future. Prosperity, safety, hope, and a future. Say it with me. Prosperity, safety, hope, and a future. Prosperity, safety, hope, and a future. That's good news. Who doesn't want to be prosperous? Is there anybody here that doesn't want to be kept safe? Is there anybody here who wants to be hopeless or and not have a future? No. But he says, those are the plans I have for you. I have been meticulous in the plans that I have designed for you. Prosperity, safety, hope, and a future. Now, my notes at one time said the future, and the Holy Spirit said, it's a future. And I said, thank you, because the future, the difference between the future and a future is that the future is just what's to come. But a future is you being in it. I was like, Holy Spirit, you better preach. So simple. Don't read the Bible too fast. Don't read it too fast. The difference is not just what's to come, but you being in it. You being a part of it. Knowing what God is doing. He wants you to be in it with him. Thank you, Lord. But let me ask you a question. We all know Jeremiah 29:11. Who is God talking to? I knew it. I knew it was going to come up. You know, I know what you're saying. Jeremiah. He was talking to Jeremiah. That's what I thought too. But he wasn't. He wasn't talking to Jeremiah. Jeremiah was writing a letter. Woo! I'm telling you, God, let me tell you, you've been preaching to me all week. Y'all, I just hope I can give a little credit and do it justice. He wasn't talking to Jeremiah. Jeremiah was writing a letter. And who was the letter to? Captives. The context of a scripture is just as important as its content. You will never look at Jeremiah 29:11 and say, well, we get done. God is not talking to Jeremiah the prophet. He was talking to exiles. He was talking to his people. He was talking to those who were going into captivity from Jerusalem and going to Babylon.
Come on now.
Oh, you're not happy yet? Okay. What I'm trying to say is, he wasn't talking to somebody that looked like he had it all together.
Say it!
He wasn't talking to somebody that looked too good, too real, too holy, too righteous, too got it all right. He was talking to people who were too disobedient, too wrong,
Amen!
too over,
Yes!
too broken, too messed up, too toe down. That's good news. He was talking to me. Can anybody else get in on that?
Yes!
Captive and exile. The one who it may look like I got it all together, but I'm on my knees crying. Sometimes my prayer is just, God help me. God, I need to see you. Just show up and help me. That's who he was talking to. And he still said prosperity, safety,
Yes!
future. Those are the plans I have for you. So it's not about your title. Because let me tell you really who the captives were. Elders, prophet, priest, and then they just said everybody else. But the word wanted us to know we talking to the half of it. Who have been disobedient and then want to make God their God. Yeah. He was talking to them. That God had moved from Jerusalem to Babylon. And let me tell you the significance of that. Jerusalem, the word Jerusalem means habitation of peace. Babylon means the gate of God. But we also are very familiar with Babylon. You may not be actually familiar with Babylon, but you know the Tower of Babel? How that's where people were trying to build the tower, and God was like, whoa, now, wait. And when people are united and speaking one language, there's nothing they can do. We couldn't stop them. So he went and caused chaos. And that's really what Babylon became known as. The gate of God, but where there was confusion and chaos. So wait a minute, God, you're telling me that a disobedient people, your people, not the world, not unbelievers, but your people. Come on, I'm talking to you because you talking to me. His people. He would move from peace to chaos to bring him closer to him, to bring him to the gate of God.
Make it plain, Pastor!
You with me now? So we're sitting here wondering, why has our atmosphere changed? Why has our environment changed? Because God has literally called you from peace to chaos to bring you closer to him.
Yes!
Gate of God. Because when the chapter 29 opens, Jeremiah is just explaining that, these are the people that King Nebuchadnezzar carried into exile. But when Jeremiah begins to write the letter, it says, this is what the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, says to all those I carried into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon. Wait, you did it? You mean it wasn't my boss I don't like? You mean it was that spouse I can't stand? You mean it wasn't those friends that were talking about me and turning on me? You mean it was you? God did it. We give the devil so much credit. But who knows that that's God's devil? And he has to get permission for everything that he does. And we need to look up and say, God, I see what you're doing. Purposefully. And then this is what gets me though. He says, I carry. So not only is he going to take you there, but he going to make sure you get there.
Yes! There you go! There you go! That's it!
God, you better stop. He said, I carry. Not I took you. I carry you. From peace to chaos. I wanted to make sure you got there all right. I wanted to make sure you didn't lose nothing on the way.
Hell!
Okay. Carry. But we're in good company because, many of God's people, I don't want you to forget, many of God's people, anointed people, seemingly good people, were called to captivity, to imprisonment, exile. But we often look at people and say, oh, what'd you do? Oh. Who like me can say, God, whatever you have to do to keep me close to you, anything that you have to take, any kind of environment you got to put me in, but God, keep me on my knees. I don't care how good you try to be, we're all going to fall. We all fall short. We're all unrighteous. Only God can make us righteous through his grace. That's it. Joseph, Samson, Daniel, John, Peter, James, Paul, Silas. All of them. And it wasn't just being in captivity, but it was what God was doing while they were there. That was so powerful and so amazing and changed the course of not only their lives, but their ministry. He said, I will carry you. And this is what we need to know. Why is it important in how we act and take notice of what God is doing in our life? Because it's not peace that glorifies God. It's not our response to peace that glorifies God. It's our response to chaos. If all I did was talk about great things that God is doing, he's done this, he's done that, that wouldn't glorify God. But if I could say that even though I don't see the future, I know God got me. He has me in his hand. I trust him no matter what. I don't even know what the future of my job look like, but I'm holding on to God. I know he's going to provide. My money is funny, but he got me. He's sending people to give me money to bless me. No matter what, I may be tired, I may be depressed, but God is Sometimes it's not even where God has put us, but it's our mindset. Where we're holding ourselves captive by shame and grief, repetitive sin, depression, hopelessness, unforgiveness. I want you to know that God has a plan for you. If you're in the midst of chaos and confusion, God has a plan for you. And what is it? Prosperity, safety, hope, and a future. Prosperity, safety, hope, and a future. So you may be asking, now okay, God has moved me from peace to chaos. Now what? That's a good question. Because I ask God that all the time. Now what, God? Now what? You got me here. Now what? Okay? That's a good question. He's got an answer. So when we go to the letter that Jeremiah wrote in verse 5, he tells them exactly what to do. He says, build houses and settle down. Plant gardens and eat what they produce. Marry and have sons and daughters. Find wives for your sons and give your daughters in marriage so that they too may have sons and daughters. Y'all gonna be here a while. Increase in number, do not decrease. Also, seek the peace and prosperity of the city to which I have carried you into exile. Pray to the Lord for it. Because if it prospers, for you will prosper. Yes, this is what the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, says. Do not let the prophets and diviners among you deceive you. Do not listen to the dreams you encourage them to have. You mean prophets? And people who see the future can be manipulated? They are prophesying lies to you in my name. I have not sent them, declares the Lord. Get busy. That's what he says. Number one, seclusion is not an excuse to snub solidity. In other words, be concerned about security. Be concerned about strength. Be concerned about having everything that you need, even in seclusion. Okay? I think one of the biggest things or hardest things that when you go abroad, you feel alone. Even though you know you've got family, you're still connected, you still feel alone, secluded. Right? I see you there's some military people in here, you know. It's like, it's hard to still feel connected, but you're like, I gotta stay grounded. I gotta stay in my foundation. You know? Number two, captivity is not an excuse to cease cultivation. Plant, grow, build, fellowship. Number three, devastation is not an excuse to dwindle in depression. It's not. It's not. Just because you're going through, that's not an excuse. Just because your life don't look like what you thought it would, it's not an excuse. For the joy of the Lord is our strength. He said, if you delight in me, I'll give you the desires of your heart.
Yes, Lord.
Excuse. 4, poverty is not an excuse to pity progress. So many excuses. Well, I don't have it. What do you have? Do you have a word? Do you have a heart? Do you have hope? Can you encourage? Can you give people time? Poverty is not an excuse to not move forward. And number 5, exile is not an excuse to eliminate exhortations. What am I saying? stop encouraging and don't stop praising. It never fails that when I'm at my lowest, here comes somebody that needs encouragement. Oh, Lord. I'm trying to get it myself. I need encouragement. But that has been the quickest way to refocus my mindset on who God is to just muster up the faith to say God is still good. God is still mighty. God loves you. He cares for you. Don't get up. God is intentional about you. Which is my next point. God is intentional about you. He is. Do you see it? Do you see it in His Word, y'all? That He's intentional about you. That even when He has to put you in places that make you uncomfortable, He still says, I have a plan for you. The disobedient one, I have a plan for you. The one who's turning their back on me, I have a plan for you. The one who breaks my heart every day because of what you're doing, I still have a plan for you. That is the God we serve. I don't know why He's like that. But that's how good our God is. That even when you're not doing what you're supposed to do, He says, I still have a plan for you.
Yes!
It's too good. It's too good. I know sometimes you can't wrap your mind around it because He's just that good. There's nothing like it on earth. We don't do that. We try, but we don't. No one loves us the way that God loves us.
There's that tire on my truck all the way down.
No, if you get some fix-a-flat, it'll work.
But also, He deserves your trust. I would just say trust God because I want you to, but I want you to know He deserves it. Because He's never failed you. He's never left you. He's never abandoned you. He's always been there. He's always turned out for you. He deserves it. And you need to know that God is with you. He's with you. He is with you.
Yes, Lord.
He told the people, He says, you will seek me. And you will find me when you seek me with your whole heart. Again, He wasn't talking to people who had it all together, you know? That's what makes it so beautiful. Do you get what I'm saying? Do you get that He was talking to us?
Thank you, Lord. Yeah.
And God will bring you back. He told the people, now you're going to be here for 70 years. So get comfortable. You know, that's not an excuse to not do anything, to get sad, no, build. Be productive. You're going to be here, but I'm going to bring you back. Meaning, y'all, what you're going through, it won't last always. That's a promise. It won't last always. He will bring you back, not just to Him, but to His peace. But this is what's so beautiful about what He was even telling the people to do, is that even though I'm moving your location of peace, don't let it mess with your heart. Don't let it mess with your mindset. You can still have peace even in the midst of chaos and confusion. That is a choice. Do you understand? It's a choice. That even though God, no matter where you move me, no matter what I'm going through, I choose my peace. And my peace comes in trusting God and knowing that He is in control, that He is sovereign, that He loves me, that He cares for me, even in the midst of what I am going through. And you know what? I have decided that no matter mom's mom. You know how he said, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I want God to say, the God of Wanita, Kathy, and Wanita. That's who I am. You've seen how I've been faithful through generation to generation. That's the same God I am yesterday, today, and forever.
Yes!
Glorify him. I want people to see the power of God in my life. I want people to know that he is faithful, that he is kind, that he is loving, that he is compassionate, that he makes a way when there seems there is no way, that he is safety, that he is the refuge. He is my refuge. He is my refuge. He is my refuge. I am a refugee. I am a refugee. But he didn't just have a plan, and I'm done. But I want you to know he just didn't have a plan for now. But he's always had a plan. And in Revelation 13 and 8, it says, the Lamb who was slain before the creation of the world. Meaning that even before Adam and Eve fell, he already had a plan. And that plan was called Jesus. I don't know why he loves us so much. I don't. I struggle with that every day. I'm like, God, you're amazing. You could have created angels, robots, to be obedient, to hear what you say and do it, to always walk in your way. You could have done it. But you created us instead. People who would get it wrong, who would fall, who would disobey, and you love us unconditionally. But that plan, the plan that he's always had for your salvation, for your life, his name is Jesus. And all he asks is that you believe. That you make him the Lord of your life. That you believe that he's always had a plan for you. And not just for you, but to be in relationship with him. Y'all, the Old Testament, all of it is about him bringing his people disciplining them because he wanted them to be close. That's it. That's how much God loves you. It's amazing. And I know why people struggle with receiving it, because even the Bible says that you really only can fathom it through the power of the Holy Spirit. And it's true. It's true. But I'm asking you to make two responses today. The first one is to trust God and trust God's plan for your life. Trust him and ask him to replenish your peace. The peace that only he can give, no matter what you're going through, no matter what situation you're in. But if you're struggling with even trusting God, I do. I'm being honest. As much as I say, God, I trust you, but help my untrust. Even when it's hard, God, I can look back and see what you've done, but God, I need help with what you're getting ready to do. Help me trust you, God. If you need that comfort prayer, I want you to raise your hand right now and say, God, raise your right hand. God, help me trust you. Help me trust you in every circumstance, every situation, in the midst of chaos. Help me to trust you, God, because I know the plans you have for me, to prosper me, to not harm me, to give me hope and a future. Help me to trust you, God. And then the second response is to Christ. To commit to a life with Christ. The one who loves you, the one who died for you, the one who rose for you and now sits in the right hand of the Father, who is preparing a place for you. Respond to him today. Don't leave here with any doubt as to where you would be if you were to die right now. My prayer is that you're in the presence of your Father. But that is only through a relationship with Christ. That's